There's a story from the Daily Mail. It's actually been covered quite a bit, where this 81-year-old guy killed an Uber driver who was 61. And I don't want to show the picture because it's kind of messed up. But here's what happened. Old guy gets a phone call, and it's a scammer basically saying, you're going to give us money, you're going to give us what we want, or otherwise we're going to cause you harm, right? Threatening his life. So he keeps this guy on the phone. He gets his gun. They say, we're going to come pick this thing up from you. They then schedule an Uber driver and tell the Uber driver, hey, can you come to this house and pick up a package? And she says, okay. So when she shows up, this guy on the phone thinks this is the person coming to kill him and his family. So he threatens her with a gun, like, what are you doing? Who are you? Stay away from my family. She fights him because she doesn't know what he's doing. Some crazy guy pulled a gun on her. He kills her. It's wild.
Yeah.
Like, what do you...
Crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, a scammer called the dude, threatening him with death, said that his people were coming for him, and then tricked some other lady into going. What's this guy at his house supposed to do when a stranger shows up, as described, with a threat other than defend himself?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's another version of swatting. It's kind of the goal of swatting people was to get people, to harm someone, and this is...
I guess they were hoping that he would just give up whatever he had, and the Uber driver would take it and not realize what it was. Instead, somebody died. I bet this kind of thing happens all the time, to be honest.
Well, the shooting probably doesn't happen all the time.
No, exactly. I mean, like the scam.
Yeah, that's a pretty disturbing thing to do. It's interesting what's going on with the gig economy, because the ride share apps and the food ride share and all of that kind of stuff, like Uber Eats and Uber and Lyft and all of these things, they started out seeming like they were really going to be an improvement on things like taxi cabs and moped delivery drivers bringing you takeout food. And instead what we have is absolutely no accountability at all. There's no accountability on
it's worse than ever.
Yeah.
And it's more expensive now.
It's more expensive.
Yeah.
There's like 5 different fees if you get Uber Eats that you have to pay in order to get them to bring you food.
The food's already marked up too.
And the food's already marked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's such a level of anonymity with all of this. Like, instead of going to a store and looking at somebody in the eye and giving them cash and they give you some good or service or whatever it is, you're like ordering it on your phone, and then somebody or just something comes and delivers it to your house. Like, there's a breakdown in a lack of like human contact and trust.
We use like these ordering apps and stuff, and I've noticed that it'll be like, Janet is your driver, and then some guy shows up.
Yeah.
From like, at this point, my attitude is, if it shows a picture of a person and says they're coming and a different person shows up, I'll be like, get off my property.
Yeah, what are
like
you
trespassing.
Yeah.
Like, get off my property. And then I will call that company and be like, who is this strange man who showed up? Because what happens is when someone who delivers for these companies gets fired, they have a friend sign up for them and then just say, just give me your phone and I'll do it for you. No one says anything. But now you could have like a scammer or somebody coming to your house, and it's like,
well, and it's
they're
weird
not
too. Like,
interested.
if you order Uber Eats, right, you like order through the app, so you have absolutely no relationship to the restaurant.
Yeah.
And you have no relationship to the driver, and you have no relationship to the app. So like, I've had situations where the Uber Eats will show up, like, because I travel a bit, and they'll just be like, oh, I left your food outside the door of the hotel. Like
people,
on the street somewhere in Austin, you left my food there.
You know what people do? They'll order Uber Eats or DoorDash or Seamless or something. They'll say like, Wendy's, get me a, number 1 classic, or I don't know what Wendy's has. I don't know. Baconator. Is that what they have? A Baconator?
I don't know.
Whatever. And they'll be like 2 Baconators, a large fry, a chicken nuggets, and a large soda. And then what these restaurants do is they make the order and then put it in an area for the drivers. The person who ordered it's already there, walks up and says, for Uber Eats, and then grabs the food and leaves. And then when the actual driver shows up, the food's not there. And they say to the person working at the restaurant, like, hey, I'm waiting for this order. And they go, that order's been taken. And then that Uber driver messages the company and says, food was stolen.
Oh, damn.
And then you at home, the person who scammed them, they go, I never got my food.
Right.
Yep.
Well, but also a lot of times if there's some issue, like I ordered something, I ordered like a whole meal and I only got a soda.
Jeez.
Oh yeah.
And they wouldn't refund it. They were like, you've made too many complaints. And it's like,
here's the other funny
yeah, that's
thing
because you keep screwing up and there's no accountability.
The other funny thing about it is the situation I just described. It was an Instagram video I watched where it was like a Seamless driver. He was on a bike and he had like a heater bag in front of his bike, and he walks into like a Wendy's, and they were like, that order's been taken, and he's like, looks like we got a scammer, guys, and he explains what's going on. Some people, you go to Starbucks, and they have on the counter just the food done, meaning. What's to stop any random person from walking in and going, I'm the driver for this meal, and then taking it and leaving?
That's all you do. Also, if you walk into a Starbucks and you try and order something, they're so busy with the mobile orders and drive-through that you end up not ever being able to get anything. You just stand there forever waiting.
I think Amazon is closing their weird no employee stores. I heard that. I don't know exactly what's going on. But the problem is with self-checkout and with this DoorDash system, you can't have these things in a low trust society.
No.
Because you can't criminally charge someone who accidentally took the wrong food.
Right.
So if some guy orders a small coffee and a muffin, then they walk into Starbucks and see a large coffee and a sandwich and they grab it and leave. What are you going to do? Hey, you stole that. Be like, oh, I had ordered a So scammers can just be like skimming off the top, and you can't criminally charge someone for an accident. Someone goes to self-checkout and they're ringing things up. And then one item doesn't scan, but they don't notice. And they walk on, hey, that bag of cheese you didn't pay for. And they'll be like, I don't work here. I don't know. It creates plausible deniability for criminals to be like, I thought it scanned.
Well, and we created a high trust society, and then we decreased that trust and amplified the things that need trust to be effective. And that's why everything's crumbling. Like you saw 911 went out in like 3 states.
Oh, man.
That's so messed up. It went out in Las Vegas, South Dakota, and a bunch of Texas and some Nebraska. I think.
And now creating a structure that's not conducive to social trust.
Okay, here's my conspiracy theory. We are in a simulation, and this is life was created 24 years ago, and everything was created by the creators of this universe to test whether humans could actually run the machines. So, you know what I mean? They're like, okay, are humans really smart enough to maintain a system like this? Let's build this system because, the aliens or God or whoever, they're very smart. And then see if we put humans in these positions, will they be able to sustain it? And we failed miserably. Everything's falling apart. Our nukes don't even work anymore. Matt Gaetz had a tweet about how like a whole portion of our F-35s are not operational. We ordered these jets, they don't even work. We got 911's not working. Like in 20 years, just nothing works anymore. And it's like, well, humans are actually really bad at what they do.
I didn't realize that 911 was like, why would 911 go down in multiple states across the,
cyber attack.
It's a cyber attack?
No, I don't know. But how does that happen all at once in multiple states?
Yeah, it's like, and such what seemed random spots. I don't know anything about the 911 system. So it's not like I'm speaking from a position of information here or speaking from an informed position, but like, that seems so weird. Like just random states. You guys have a problem. You guys have a problem, and without any rhyme or reason. I don't understand, and I don't get it. But
I don't know. Look at what happened with Israel and Iran. Wasn't it like Israel launched missile strikes hitting Iran, and then Iran went, no, there were no missile strikes.
There was all a slap fight.
No, I mean this was legit, but then Iran says, no, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to be forced into a war they can't win.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. It's as much as, Israel's going to get a lot of crap from people that don't like Israel. Like Israel has been incredibly restrained dealing with like Hezbollah and dealing with Iran and Iran's aggression through Hezbollah and stuff. Like all of the stuff going on in the north is all Iranian proxies. Like I know Hamas is not directly is not like a direct proxy.
They were trained by Hezbollah.
Yeah, but so it's a little looser, the association, but Hezbollah is like got real weaponry that Hamas never had. Hezbollah
they're backed by Iran.
Well, that's the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
That's the point that I'm making.
Yeah.
That Hezbollah has still been shooting rockets into Israel like for the past ever since October 7th, every couple days or whatever. They're still having clashes with them. So they're having clashes with Iranian proxies. Iran attacks them because they went after the guy that was planning attacks with the Iranian proxies. And now it's like if Israel was not having restraint, they could have justifiably like made a significant attack.
I will just say about the 911 lines that went down. It was not malicious. It was, in fact, the company that provides the call system said that the outages came from the installation of a light pole by a third party. So it's simply more incompetence and no accountability.
That's what I'm saying. Like, whoever like you guys know what mud flood theory is?
No.
No.
The Great Mud Flood. These conspiracy theorists believe that there is a great global empire called Tartaria, and then there was a great flooding event which basically shifted the landscape and pushed mud up. And there are people who actually believe that we don't build buildings, we discover buildings.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
And there's like
we don't build any buildings.
Yeah,
just
like
discovered
we
everything.
modern buildings we do, but
Oh,
they're
okay.
like if you go to Boston, you'll see like a building where there's a door frame half buried, and they're like, why did this building have a door frame in its basement like this? And the theory is because it's actually not as old as people think, but the mud flood came and swept mud up to the door, and then they laid concrete down and then put new doors. It's ridiculous. It's wild. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.